Good afternoon. I'm Jaden, and I'm an undergraduate writing consultant at the OU Writing Center. In this video, we'll be discussing different aspects of MLA citation style. Let's get started. In this presentation, we'll cover general information about citation styles and why we cite, basic information about MLA, including paper formatting requirements. Then, we'll talk about in-text citations, and finally, about the works cited page. First, a lot of students wonder why there are so many different academic writing styles, and why these different citation styles matter. Many academic disciplines have their own citation style. This is an agreed-upon way to cite and present information that shows membership in that particular field. It also allows others in the field to easily recognize and access information. When the writer uses a uniform and consistent style, readers can focus on the message the writer is conveying instead of the formatting. It helps people hear what you're saying rather than getting lost in how you're saying it. Using a uniform and consistent style also allows your reader to scan the text quickly to find key ideas, results, and sources. This is helpful when doing research. We've all done it, trying to figure out if a source works for our particular project. It is important to cite other people's work, to acknowledge the intellectual labor and property of other people. American academic writing really values ownership of original ideas, and so it's an expected part of this culture that we give credit to other people's work. MLA citation style, or the style of the Modern Language Association, is mostly used in humanities disciplines such as English, philosophy, and music. It is also commonly used at the K-12 level and is often the first style students learn to write with. Some of the basic style requirements for a paper in MLA include double spacing and page numbers in the top right corner, as well as the heading in the top left. MLA is also more particular on font style than some other styles might be. Most people who use MLA write in Times New Roman, unless specified otherwise. Unlike some other styles, MLA does not use a cover page. Instead, a lot of contact and setup information goes into the heading on the first page. To start off at the beginning of the paper, we see the author's last name plus the page number in the top right. This piece of the header goes on every page. The rest of the prefatory information only goes on the first page. This starts with the first and last name of the writer, followed by the teacher or professor. After this is the class, and finally the date. Notice that the date is the day, followed by the month, then the year. After the header, we see the title on the line below it. You'll want to make sure this is snappy and sums up your paper in just a few words. Finally, make sure that you have 1-inch margins and double spacing throughout your MLA style paper. In general, there are two types of in-text citations. The first is called a parenthetical citation. This is the example on the left side of this slide. This type of citation occurs at the end of the sentence with the author's last name followed by the page number. These are then placed within parentheses with the period following after the closed parentheses. The second type of in-text citation is called a narrative citation. This is the example on the right side of this slide. This is where the author's name occurs within the sentence and only the page number is placed in parentheses at the end of the sentence, with the period following the closed parentheses. Both are proper ways to include citation information in your sentences. Sometimes we choose narrative citations if we are trying to highlight or emphasize the source. Or we might choose parenthetical citations because they tend to keep the emphasis on our own words and writing. Now, we will talk about the works cited page of the paper. The works cited page is where you list complete bibliographical information about each of the sources you used in your paper. This includes publishers, journal titles, links, and more. A reader should be able to use the information provided on your works cited page to locate the exact source that you used in the paper. The page itself includes the words "works cited" at the top center of the page. All entries should be in alphabetical order with a hanging indent on each entry. Then, as with the rest of the paper, this page is also double-spaced and in Times New Roman, or whatever font you might have chosen for the paper, as previously discussed. MLA explains the elements needed in a full citation in terms of core elements and containers. We will also talk about some of the core elements for a citation next. Here is an excerpt from the MLA Style Center on the Works Cited page, and the use of core elements and containers. Use this link for an interactive practice template. Some of the core elements for MLA citations include the author, the title of the source, the container, which could be the anthology, website, journal, or whatever larger work where the source is found. Some other elements include the contributors, the version of the source, the volume or issue, the publisher, the date of publication, as well as the location of the source. Note that not all sources will have every piece of information. Here is an example of a works cited entry for a journal article. This slide includes all the different elements of the citation and how you might see it within the source. Things like the publisher and volume would be considered portions of the container, while the title and author would be the source information. We have the core elements, which include the name of the author as well as the title of the source. Then we have the container information, which includes the publishing and source information. In this case, there is one container, as opposed to some sources which might have more than one container and information. This next example includes two containers, rather than just one. Ultimately, any reader would be able to see that this source is from the journal called the Georgia Review, and can be found in volume number 64, issue number 1, from the year 2010. It is by the author Anne Goldman and is called Questions of Transport, Reading Primo Levi, Reading Dante. This example is for an episode of a TV show. Whereas the previous example, the journal article, used one container, this example uses two containers. For the two containers, we have both the original network that broadcasted the show, as well as the streaming service where the author watched the show. This is becoming increasingly more important as different streaming services buy rights to television shows and movies, meaning we may not be able to access all shows or movies in all places. If someone wanted to find this source, they would need to know that it's available on Hulu, and they could also check BBC America's archives. As previously mentioned, the Works Cited page or section includes all relevant information about a source that your reader would need to find the source again. We use this to give proper credit to the people who created the source, as well as helping those who read the work to find the source you refer to. The example on this slide shows what a Works Cited page should look like. It's in alphabetical order, double-spaced, and includes a hanging indent, so every line after the first is indented. Finally, if you have multiple sources from one author, you need to make sure that the title of each work is in alphabetical order. We hope that this overview of MLA Citation Style was helpful. If you have any questions or concerns about MLA, or about writing in general, contact us. Please feel free to stop by or make an appointment. The OU Writing Center is located in Wagner Hall, room 280, on the OU Norman campus. We can be reached by telephone at 405-325-2936. Our email address is writingcenter@ou.edu, and our website is write.ou.edu. You can schedule an appointment online at ou.mywconline.net. and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @OU Writes. Here are the sources that we used during this presentation.